Okay, so we're diving into Noah's Ark today.
Noah's Ark, huh?
Yeah, the flood, the animals, the whole shebang.
Uh,
But we're going beyond the surface level here, like past the basic flood narrative, trying to uncover some of the deeper, maybe lesser known stuff that's tucked away in the book of Genesis.
oh yeah, there's a lot in there.
There really is. It's pretty fascinating when you really start digging in.
Yeah, for sure. For me, what's always blown me away about Genesis 8 specifically is the timeline. Like, it's incredibly precise. It doesn't just say, oh, it rained for a while. Right. We get the specifics. We're talking 150 days of flying, the ark finally coming to rest on Mount Ararat, like on the 17th day of the 7th month.
Wow.
Mountaintops becoming visible on the first day of the 10th month. Even goes so far as to say that the earth was completely dry by the 27th day of the 2nd month, but of the following year.
It's amazing, that level of detail.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about how, this story was passed down and valued over all those generations. Like, why be so specific? What does that tell us?
That is a fantastic question. It definitely suggests that this wasn't just like some campfire story, right?
Right.
This level of precision, it really suggests that this was something that a community meticulously preserved, probably through oral tradition long before it was ever written down.
Mm-hmm.
And, that speaks volumes about the importance they placed on this story and the message that it carries.
And speaking of important messages, you can't ignore the whole raven and dove thing. What's your take on the symbolism there?
Okay, so you got the raven. Noah sends it out first. Things just flying around, right? Can't find anywhere to land. To me, that's such a perfect image of uncertainty, of the world still in chaos.
Right.
But then we get the dove, and it comes back, and it's holding an olive leaf. Now, that's not just a random detail.
Definitely not.
Right, the olive branch, it's this incredibly powerful symbol of hope, of land reemerging, of life finding a way to start anew.
It's such a powerful image. But I don't know, there's also this sense of fragility, don't you think? Like, yes, the floodwaters have receded, but is the danger truly gone?
Oh, you're right on the money with that. The olive branch, yes, it represents hope, absolutely. But it's also this subtle little reminder of just how delicate new beginnings can be. I mean, think about it. The world, everything has just gone through this incredibly traumatic event.
Yeah. And then you have this huge moment. God establishes the covenant, that promise to never again flood the earth.
Exactly. And it's so powerful how the text puts it. Never again, it says, will I curse the ground because of humans, and never again will I destroy all living creatures, as I have done. That declaration is really tied to the cyclical nature of life. Seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night. These cycles, they continue. They're like this constant reassurance of God's presence and provision.
I think that's something we still feel today, right? I mean, even today, we find comfort in the predictable rhythms of nature. It's grounding in a world that can often feel so chaotic.
100%. Those rhythms connect us to something larger than ourselves, absolutely.
And right after the covenant is made, Noah, he immediately goes and builds an altar and offers sacrifices. It's just such a strong image of gratitude, right? Acknowledging this divine power that spared him and spared creation.
Yeah, totally. And there's a detail in there that I feel like sometimes gets overlooked. The text mentions that God was pleased by the aroma of the sacrifice.
The aroma. Now that's interesting. It really makes you wonder what that represented to them. How did they perceive this communication with the divine?
It speaks to this whole belief system where the physical act of offering something that was precious to you, it was a way to connect with God. And that aroma, I think you could see it as a symbol of that connection, right? Like a sign that the offering was accepted.
So stepping back from the ancient context a little bit, how do you think these big themes of renewal, covenant, sacrifice, how do they speak to us today?
Oh man, I think they tap into like universal human experiences, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of starting over after hardship, making commitments that really sustain life, expressing gratitude for what we have. These are things we all grapple with no matter what background we come from. I mean, think about the covenants that we make in our own lives, the promises we make to ourselves and our loved ones, our communities, right?
Oh, that's a really good point. We may not be building altars, but the concepts at the core of this story, they're still relevant.
They're totally relevant.
But before we wrap things up here, there's one final thing I want to touch on. Despite this beautiful covenant, despite the hope, the text still acknowledges that there's evil in the human heart. Is that foreshadowing, Like, is it a reminder that even with a fresh start, that the potential for conflict, for messing up, is always going to be there?
I think it definitely throws in a little bit of tension, right? Like
Yeah.
the promise of renewal is definitely there. It's front and center. But at the same time, there's that acknowledgement that humans, we have this capacity to wander off the path. And it's this powerful reminder, I think, that we all play a part in upholding that covenant, in choosing good over evil, even when things get tough.
That's a pretty powerful thought to end on. Wow, we've really gone deep on this one. We've gone beyond the surface of this familiar story and found all these layers of meaning that still speak to us today. It's like these ancient tales. They can really offer timeless wisdom for our own lives.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Thanks for coming along on this journey with us.
We encourage you to keep exploring this text. Read it, think about it, talk about it. Until next time, happy exploring.